here come the Maroons. Paul Yeager alongside Billy Battistone as we are at Drake Stadium, and it's time for high school football here on DowlingWebcasting.com as the Valley Tigers make their way out onto the field. The Tigers tonight in their all-white uniforms, and they are head coached by Gary Swenson. The Maroons head coached by Tom Wilson. And this is a football team, Billy, that can really play the football game very well. Coach Gary Swenson calls this a championship caliber team that's wearing the maroon and white tonight.
And, I think he's right on with that. I think they have a ton of potential. I think to this point in the season, they're still working out some kinks on the defensive side of the ball, where they want guys to line up, what's their best defense. And on the offensive side of the ball, the no huddle is still relatively new for this offense. So, I think they're still smoothing some things out. I think Coach Wilson would say that his team is not where they need to be to make that run in October and November. But, where they're at in week 2 is pretty impressive. And I'm excited to see what they can do against a very talented, very aggressive, very athletic Valley team.
All right, the third member of our broadcast team is standing on the sideline tonight. It's a young man by the name of Seth Drury. Seth, welcome back. Glad to have you here. What's that environment like down on the field?
Thanks, Paul. Glad to be back. First game of the year. It's turned out to be a pretty gorgeous night. I think everyone's probably pretty happy. The sophomore game ran a little long. It's been able to cool off. Really comfortable out. Granted, I'm not running around, but probably good deal that they had a little bit of time pass. Cool conditions, about 84 degrees. Not much wind here. A little bit of a breeze, just enough to keep it cool. And shouldn't be too bad as they're getting ready for the coin toss on the field. One thing to note, as Valley, the first team offense got out there, I know Coach there said Talon would take most of the snaps to start out with, and he did. And looks like they will rotate pretty easily though, as they did in warm-ups. So looks for be a great day or a great night here for a football game. Looking forward to it. So.
Seth Drury down on our sideline tonight. Ramel Slaughter is handling all sorts of things for us. He'll be giving us statistics as the game night goes on, and we'll update you on social media as best we can. You can find us at Dowling Webcast on Twitter or on the Facebook page of Dowling Webcasting. The two teams have met in the middle for their pregame coin toss, and And here we go. We'll be ready to go in just a little bit. Let's give you the starting lineup for the Dowling Catholic Maroons on offense. The lieutenant is Elijah Suela. He is 6'3", 285 and a junior. Left guard, Chico Jones, 5'8", 240 and a senior. The center is Jack McAllister, 6'1", 280, also a senior. Cole Wymore at right guard, moved from left guard to right guard this season. He's 5'9", 215 and a junior. Jake Curvin, back from injury, is the right tackle, 6'4", 265. Your flanker, Rico Gafford, the transfer from East Des Moines, 4 catches for 56 yards and 2 touchdowns last week. When Rico's in the ball game on the offensive side, look for him to get the ball. The fullback is Colin Peacock. The tight end is Zach Steenblock. He's a 6'2", 205 senior. The tailback, Chase Dowell, but you'll also see a lot of number 44, Nate Christian. The split end is Grant Palmer, and the quarterback is Ryan Boyle, 6'1", 200 pound and a junior, also back from injury. The Dowling Catholic defense is Max Morris, John Swisher, Ben Ryan, Ben Erickson, Luke DeVenny, and Rico Gafford are the corners. The linebacking core of Joey Miller, Jake Luton, Eric Austin, and Jason Bowman, and the free safety is Nick Wilson. The Valley offensive chart will set for you. The defense first because the offense will set as they come onto the field. Adam Harris at corner, Nate Spacek at right end. The D tackle is Reese Garver. Colson Stifle is the nose guard. Connor Schramm, the D tackle. The linebacker is Zach Downs, and the cornerback is Connor Sorge. Ben Miles. We'll also see Nick Yenser, Dakota Miller at linebacker. The safety is Parker Johnson and Keller Preen. For the offense, for the Valley Tigers, John Reardon and Tyler Good at tackles. The guards, Aaron Howard and Josh Brunk. The center is Brady Smith. The running back is Drew Gray and Tyus Mason. You'll see them both. You'll also see Anthony Holmes at wide receiver along with Dominique Daphne. Sam Hartman is the tight end, and the quarterback to start scheduled is Talon Alexander, but you'll also see Connor LeGrone tonight. Talon, the sophomore, was pulled in favor of LeGrone. So the Maroons will kick the ball off. That means the Maroon defense will come out first, and then we'll get to see that Valley offense right away. The Valley Tigers tonight are in their all-white uniforms with black numbers and black trim, the white helmets with the orange V trimmed in black and a black stripe down the middle. The Maroons in new home uniforms with Dowling Catholic on the front in white, and the maroon color is predominant in that uniform with the white pants. We're ready for football from Valley Stadium. Paul Yeager, Billy Battistone, and also Seth Drury. We are underway here at Drake Stadium to begin this exciting rivalry. It bounces over Tyus Mason's head, and the Tigers will start the ball 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line. Nice kick by the Maroons, and that's Nick McClellan. Valley will go from left to right, from north to south. They'll have it 1st and 10 from their own 20-yard line. Look for Tyus Mason, look for Drew Gray. It could be a lot of activity in the running back, but you know that's what they're going to do. It's that whole element of surprise.
And Valley's a power team, so I expect a heavy dose of trap, of power, ISO, all the big run plays I expect to see on this first drive.
It is Taylor Alexander with Mason behind him about 8 yards deep. Under center, and it's going to be a give to Mason off right tackle, and the Maroons have him snuffed up, out, down, and a loss of about 2 on the play. Good stop by the Maroons. Up front right away was John Swisher. Fun kid to watch.
And he's very aggressive at that defensive end spot. He's got great hands, great movement. He can really get up the field, but at the same time he's got great hips. He can sink his hips and really go lateral down the line of scrimmage and make a play.
Loss of 2 on the play for Mason as he goes backwards. And just good pursuit. John Swisher is going to be a name we're going to call a lot tonight. I can pretty much guarantee that. On the near side of the field, the Valley Tigers have the football. Under center is the sophomore, Alexander. Long snap count, in fact, too long as the play clock went down to 0, and there's nothing like a delay of game to drive you crazy.
No, not at all. And that's one of the things Tom Wilson jokes about is he hated him so much. That's why he went to the no huddle, so they don't have to worry about that. But, I think it's just a little bit of the nerves, the crowd noise, and first drive of the night, trying to just get settled down.
Crowd in full force tonight. It goes back to the 13-yard line. 2nd and 17 for the Tigers. One receiver left and right. It's going to be a give to Mason. He's going to dart to the outside and really have nowhere to go. That time it's Max Morris from that stud position, 6'2", 230 junior, and they just know the Mason's getting the ball. They are keen on him.
Yeah, that's been the game plan, and so ideally you'd like to stop the power and the run early in the game and make Valley have to go to something different. But that's the kind of team Valley is. They're going to try to pound the football. So it's going to be interesting to see kind of who budges first. If Dowling's able to keep up the run-stopping defense, if Valley decides to spread it out a little bit more, or if they want to stay with their game plan.
3rd and 17. The Tigers have the football. They're on their own 13-yard line. Not exactly the start for Coach Gary Swenson. Passing situation. Thrown and caught in the middle of the field by Drew Gray out of the backfield. And Gray is going to be nowhere close. In fact, he barely gets back to the original line of scrimmage up to the 21. A gain of 8 on the play, but it's still a punting situation.
And 3rd and long, Dowling's just going to sit in a really soft coverage and let you catch the ball as long as they can come up and make a tackle. Still going to force the 4th down. So a solid 3-and-out to start the game.
The Tigers will punt the football. Zach Downs to punt, and it's a short punt that's almost going to go backwards. In fact, it almost hit a JoJo Jock in front. That punt went about 6 yards to the 28-yard line. Seth Drury, that was not a nice-looking play for the Tigers.
No, that was an absolute shank, and JoJo Jock's fortunate.
Seth Drury, what did it look like from you? Basically, you could have caught it.
Yeah, it about bounced backwards towards me. I'm standing about the 18, and it almost caught me on the side bounce. Guys, those first 2 handoffs to Tyus Mason almost went past his stomach on his far arm there, so it looks like a little bit of miscommunication there that he's not getting the ball right under. Maybe having too long, we got a false start on the first play, so both teams having a little trouble, I guess. But I think he was almost too worried about trying to tuck that ball away than finding Dowling defenders already in the backfield to get him.
Seth Drury down on our sideline, and in the moment, he is right. There was a penalty on that play, and it'll be against the Maroons. Make it 1st and 15. They'll push it back to the 34-yard line. So not the way you want to start it, but the Maroons come out of that shotgun with Christian. It's going to be a keeper by Boyle off the left side. He's hit just outside the numbers, hit by the Tigers. That's Adam Harris, the senior, who got his first start, also a transfer. Came from the Florida area, 5'10", 193. So, gain of 3 on the play by Boyle. So that'll bring up second. And again, miscommunication. What's going on down there?
I think they're just a little too anxious with the no huddle. I think they're trying to get up and run the play, and the ball's not being snapped when it needs to get snapped. One of the things that Ryan Boyle has to do with the no huddle is tell his offensive line what his cadence is. And I think in the last couple of plays, he's been a little careless about making sure everybody's hearing the call. Just a little anxious trying to get up and run the play.
2nd and 17 goes back to the 37-yard line of Valley. Boyle, shotgun, looks to throw the football. They're going to that fade to Gafford. They've got him, but it's overthrown and incomplete. Harris on the coverage. They're going solo on that side. That's a little bit of a surprise.
Yeah, and they're trying to get Rico in a one-on-one, but good coverage there by the Valley defender. And, that's a really tough play. That's one of Dowling's favorite plays is that comet. They call it the comet motion with their halfback who sprints out. And they've got so many options off that play, and they're really letting Ryan Boyle make a decision. Depending on what the defense does, he knows he's got 2 or 3 options every time.
3rd and 17 from the Valley 37-yard line. Both these teams seem to be a little anxious and a little over-aggressive. Boyle, shotgun. Here comes the pressure. He's got to step away, and he is going to be hit at about the line of scrimmage. So what started as a really good set of field positions for the Maroons, now it is going to be almost a field goal, but I don't think you can kick it here. Ball's at the 35-yard line, Billy.
That's a long field goal, and the wind was going that way earlier. We'll see if this is the punt team or the field goal team. Looks to be the punt team. I think he's going to try to pin him back.
Well, you're playing that field position game, and you're going to stand if you're the return for Valley. You're not going to take anything that's beyond the 10.
Yep, you're going to stand right on the 10 and only come up for the ball, and if it's bouncing around, try to field it, otherwise let it go.
Tom Bowman's going to punt, and he's going to send a high kick, but it's going to be well short as well. It's going to take a Valley bounce and then go parallel out of bounds at about the 23-yard line. So better field position than the Tigers had when they started the contest. Seth, this is kind of, I won't say ugly, but what's going on down there?
I mean, previously in the pregame we said maybe a lot of points, high scoring, but I don't know. The obviously didn't expect a big punt, but both offenses having trouble. Anytime you get false starts right away, you're going to have trouble starting up and not be able to get kind of in the flow of the game. They never got their offense going. See if Valley can turn it around on this offensive possession.
Tigers have the ball at their own 23-yard line. It's a hand to Mason, and boy, there are about 9 Maroons, it would seem. It's not that many, but it certainly feels like it if you're Tyus Mason. Getting off the pile last is Max Morris.
Well, if Valley's going to stay in the 2-back I formation, Dowling is going to load the box with defenders, and you're going to see that's that speed that Grant Bossum talks about, the defense coordinator for Dowling. They don't have anybody who's blazing fast. Other than Gafford when he's on the field, they don't have anybody that'll burn you, but as a team, they're very quick to the football.
Ball's at the 21-yard line, 2nd and 12, 8 minutes to play. No score between Valley and Dowling here at Drake Stadium. Passing situation. They're going to be throw, and it's caught by Holmes up at the 28-yard line. Some positive yardage for the Tigers. It's one thing to have two teams that can't move the football when they're executing well. It's another when the team's not executing and moving forward. We've got a lot from column B, not A, so far.
Very true, and that's the frustrating thing, I think, for both coaching staffs right now, is especially from the Dowling sideline, you had a great advantage with the shank punt, and then, you really couldn't take advantage of it. So I think Dowling's okay. I mean, you're right back to where you started, so just kind of settle down, and you can stop the run, and just keep playing Dowling defense.
Passing situation likely, 3rd and 5 from the 28 of Valley. Alexander throws it to Mason out of the backfield. He is close to that first down. Wow, what a generous spot up to the 35. That's going to be the game's first down, and it comes at the 7:13 mark in the first quarter.
And if you're watching the Valley wide receivers, Dowling's been backing off their coverage, and on the snap of the ball, they're trying to read the drop of the quarterback. So if it's 3-step, they're going to jump it. If it's 5-step, they're going to keep going backwards. Well, they're giving so much cushion that the 4-yard curl is going to be there all day long. If Valley continues to complete those, they're going to be able to complete those up the field, unless Dowling comes up in some sort of press coverage.
Gain of 7 on the play. Any way you can get Mason the football is a strategy that Tom Wilson thinks Gary Swenson is going to do with that Tiger team, and that appears to be the situation. Alexander sends a receiver in motion. He's got Gray and Mason roll out to the near side. They're going to get it to Gray, and Gray is a tough guy to bring down. He gets up to the 45-yard line before the Maroons make the stop. Jake Luton is there. Luton's another one of those guys that's fun to watch and play.
A great emotional leader. He's really kind of taken over as the spokesman for the team, the school leader for the team, and he does a lot for the student body, and the kids really like him. And he is that kind of emotional leader on defense, trying to get everybody on the same page. He's very vocal, picking guys up after they miss a tackle, congratulating guys when they make a big play. He needs to have a good game tonight if Downing's going to be effective on defense.
Gain of 11 for the Tigers. They're finally finding a little bit of a stride. 45-yard line is where they have the line of scrimmage. Fresh set of downs, handoff to Mason off the left side. He's trying to get to the outside. Does get a tough 4, maybe 3 yards before DeVenny comes up and puts a pop. Also out there to help make a stop is Eric Austin.
And good pursuit to the ball. I think one of the things that Downing's talking about is Valley does have so much speed in the backfield that you really have to, once you get through the offensive line, you really got to break down and go straight down the line. A looping route in the backfield is not going to catch these Valley running backs. So I see a couple of the coaches, especially Adam Jack, the linebacker coach, tell him you got to get down the line.
Adam Jack, the Valley grad, who's getting a chance. This is about the third time that he gets a chance to coach against his former team. He also did when he was an assistant at East. Mason goes in motion, faked him. Alexander throws the football, and it is almost picked off by the Maroons. Incomplete, and it skips out, and that'll bring up third down for the Tigers. Want to let you know that we want to say hello to the Dowling class of 2012 watching at Notre Dame.
A couple of my former students, I think, in that group as well, so I'm glad they're still listening, and hopefully they're enjoying school out there.
Is this your third?
This is my third full year.
Third full year, and you were a student teacher in the third and a half.
Correct.
So you're already starting to have that cycle.
I think they're getting warmed up for the big Michigan-Notre Dame game tomorrow, right?
Well, it's not really big if you ask Notre Dame, right? Isn't that how that is? Alexander on the draw, and it's busted up. Left hand, the big left paw of John Swisher. They were running the screen to Drew Gray, and it's broken up, incomplete. It'll be 4th and 7.
It's a great play by Swisher, and he's lucky he got a hand on it because the whole defensive line got caught on the screen. I'm definitely over-pursuing the quarterback. If Swisher doesn't get a hand on that, I think that play goes for at least 15 or 20 yards. So that's a great play and a great save. And, giving up a first down, a couple first downs there, but forcing Valley off the field, get your offense back out there.
Punting formation for the Tigers, and it's a nice far cry punt from before. It's going to be fair caught back at the 18-yard line by Luke DeVenny. Let's go down to the sideline, Seth Drury, to find out what happened on that offensive series for the Valley Tigers and the defensive series for the Maroons.
Well, good job again by John Swisher getting his paw up there. He almost had a chance to pick it, but we know defensive linemen don't have hands. That's why they play on the defensive line. But again, big opening there as the screen was available. But it's tough to get over those linemen. I think here really the Maroons need to try to just get that hurry up going. I think it's something where if they usually if you get a hurry up offense going and get any kind of momentum, defense takes a while to catch up, and you can't make adjustments on the fly while on the field, so you're kind of looking for any kind of movement. So goal here probably just get a couple first downs, see if you can't move the field position back, obviously looking for a touchdown. But again, no mistakes, just trying to settle back into the flow of the game and get some positive yards after the last offensive series they had.
Is Seth Drury down on our sideline tonight as Paul Yeager and Billy Battistone back here at Drake Stadium. A little extended timeout on the change of possessions, what they did last week in the heat. So the Maroons will start the football, start this series on the negative side of the 20 at the 18-yard line. 1st and 10 on the Dowling 18. Pass to Rico Gafford just too far. And again, single coverage to Adam Harris. So they're feeling Harris can play cover defense.
Yep, and Boyle's frustrated with himself after that throw because he knows Rico had a step to the sideline and Boyle just kind of flung it out there a little too far. And, one of those things they practice every day is trying to throw Rico the deep ball. And Boyle said there's no way you can overthrow him. He's pretty quick, but over there he's just a little too much lead.
On second down, it's almost a double pass, and it's going to touch the turf to Rico. This is kind of interesting because watching the tape from last week at Southeast Polk, Rico had no problem. The Maroons had no problem getting him the football in stride, in motion, wherever. Why is the timing different tonight?
Oh, a week of film prep. I mean, you were at that game. If I watched a lot of the Southeast Polk Valley game, the film from it, any defensive coach knows that number 2 in maroon is a big threat, so they're going to know where he is at all times on the field.
Gafford comes near side, as does Luke Vandermillen. They're going to throw the football to this near side. They're going up top for Vandermillen, and it's going to be too tall, out of bounds, incomplete. So going for the out and up on that, a home run, and all of a sudden it's going to be a punting situation, 3 and out for the Maroons.
And I'm surprised that Tom Wilson decided to throw the ball 3 times consecutively. Usually he'll mix a run in there every so often, but he must like some sort of matchup in the secondary with the Valley DBs. But there, I think Ryan Boyle, those are probably 3 of the most inaccurate passes. You don't see Ryan Boyle miss very many times, let alone 3 times in a row.
Punting situation for the Maroons back at their own 5-yard line. Great punt by Bowman. Mason takes it like a long down yard catch. Takes it back at the 35. He's at the 40, 45. Cross midfield. Makes another man break. 45. If he can break this, he's got a lot of open turf. Mason at the 40. Cuts back to the 35. Spins down before he's hit hard at the 30-yard line by the Maroons. Jake Luton. That's an incredible return by Mason. In the stat book, it's only going to be 30 yards, but he ran about 55.
Yeah, well, it was a great job of Tars to catch that punt. That punt was carrying, and the Valley return men just kind of looked at each other and thought, one another were going to catch it. Mason looked at Anthony Holmes and thought he had it, and then at the last second, Tyus got up and caught it, and like you said, he caught a couple blocks and made a nice return.
A return of 45 yards. Let's go down to Seth Drury down on the sideline. Seth?
It was a good punt, good spiral, but anytime you get one of those low line drive punts and a return man can get on it, it's good for the return team because obviously the coverage can't set up enough, and obviously Tyus Mason, very dangerous there, had an opportunity to break it, and like you said, ran across the field. Great field position for Valley. We'll see if the Maroon defense can hold.
Gray trying to get to the outside, and Deviney is not going to let it happen. He says none of that. Here as that play extends out quite a bit there, Billy.
That's a great play by Deviney at corner. The Dowling Catholic corners aren't asked to make a lot of run stops, as long as you can hold that edge. But occasionally you get that running back who's so fast who wants to challenge a corner and see if they can tackle. And that time Deviney stood up. I think Tyus will think twice about trying to run to that left side and trying to get to that sideline again after that. So that was a great play by Deviney.
All right, Holmes comes to the near side for the Valley Tigers. Daphne is next to him here on this side of the field, as is, and they're going to go to the forward pass to Harris. Harris also plays some receiver. He's listed as a wide receiver in the program, but he starts on that corner spot for the Tigers. They had 3 receivers to the near side of the ball, threw it about a half a yard forward for a forward pass, but different passing formation. Valley just can't not throw the football tonight.
And I think they're just trying to see what works because they know they haven't really run the ball with some success. And it's still the first quarter, and you're still trying to figure out how Dowling's defense is going to adjust to different formations. But right now, Dowling's going to need a big stop on this 3rd and long.
34-yard line is where the football is. Alexander sends Harris in motion. 2-step drop, looks across the middle, and it's caught by the Tigers, but well short of the first down. Anthony Holmes, who's 6'6", 210, the senior, made 2 catches last week for 11 yards, made another catch right there. But it is well short of the first down. Now you have teams that are executing, but neither defense is bending at all.
Right. And that 3rd and long, again, we saw it earlier in this quarter already, that Valley's content with trying to throw the 3-yard pass play, and Dowling's going to let them do that on 3rd and 13. You just need to come up and make a tackle. And Dowling's in safe punt return here. They're playing the fake. They didn't march out any sort of punt return team, so we'll see if Valley can pin this one deep.
All right, they're going to punt it with Downs. He's at the 45-yard line. He gets his leg into it, and he's going to boom that thing. It's going to bounce at the 3, but it's going to be too tall for the Tigers. As down there to try and help was Michael Christensen, and he can't do it. It bounced at the 1. It gave him a chance, but just couldn't do it. Hey, there's some other games going on tonight, and we'll update those as the night goes on. But we know this is really a game a lot of you are watching. The Iowa Sports Spotlight says Cedar Rapids Xavier is number 1 in the state, Dowling Catholic 2, Bettendorf 3, Pleasant Valley 4, Urbandale 5, CF 6, Valley 7, Iowa City West 8, Ames 9, and Waukee 10. A lot of good teams playing here in Central Iowa. As many of you who are either watching this game live around the world or watching it on delay, I'm sure there's a couple of people in the Chicagoland area that are watching. We'll get to that in a moment, Billy. The Maroons go with Boyle, and he is just stopped. I'll tell you what, good pursuit in behind by the linebackers there. That time it was Nate Spacek who came from his right end.
If you can read and react at linebacker, you can stop that play. All those double pulling guard and tackle combos, good linebackers will read that and flow, but that was a nice play by the Valley defense.
Boyle gets 2. Gafford goes in motion. They give it to him on that wide sweep to the right side. Preen comes up to make the stop initially, and just, they're going to move that stick back a third of a yard, so no gain for Rico. Again, trying to get something to happen, and they just can't do it.
Yeah. I think they're just looking at their playbook right now going, what defense is Valley in and what do we think can work, and just trying to get an idea. I think some of these plays they'll put away for a while.
Boyle, there's a penalty on the play, throws the football across the middle to a wide-open Rico. If he hits Gafford, that's 6 points. Just overthrown by just half a foot. Probably 2 feet, actually, from this viewpoint. And before the snap, illegal procedure against the Maroons.
Ryan Boyle was pretty slow coming up after that. He took quite the pop at the end of that throw and kind of laid on the turf for a little bit. I don't know if that was out of frustration because, again, another missed receiver. That was a tough throw over the middle. A lot of big Valley defenders. He had to kind of put that on just enough line to get it to Rico in stride, but enough arc to get it over the linebackers. And he kind of laid down there for a little bit. It wasn't sure if it was out of frustration or if he was just sore from the hit. But, again, 3 and out from Dowling. Now what you're looking to do this deep in your own territory.
I believe this is the 5th punt of the football game already.
2 minutes left in the first quarter.
Downs gets a nice one again. High kick that's going to be taken by Connor Sorge. Sorge's trying to get to the outside, to the near side of the field. Gets to the 40, across midfield before he is knocked out of bounds. Good, hard, aggressive play by the Maroons there. Number 9, Isaiah Patton, comes up to make the stop. And also in there to help is Eric Austin. Austin's somebody the coaching staff likes as well.
He's a hard worker, and he really brings energy to practice every single day. And it doesn't sound like that important of a thing, but when you're a high school kid and you got 100 different things going on, the day kind of drags for you. To be able to take a practice field with energy and enthusiasm every single day, and Eric Austin brings that to the Dowling side.
Tigers have the football for the 2nd consecutive possession in Dowling territory. They got a few yards last time. Let's see what they can do this time. Hand off to a different back, and that is the backup to Mason. It's Michael Christensen who gets the handoff. So the Tigers playing their own cat and mouse game, not running Mason, not running Gray.
Mason's been all over the field already. I think, and you see him coming back in here, I think with the heat, and they just need to get breaks and a little bit of coaching on the sideline. But, yeah, you're going to see a lot of subs tonight, especially with this heat and the energy and the enthusiasm. These kids get worn down pretty quickly. So
Holmes goes to the top of your screen. Coming to the near side is Daphne and Mason. Gray is next to Alexander. Near high snap. Alexander pulls it out of the air, throws it, caught by Mason, and he is drilled by Rico Gafford. Wow, that's like a bullet out of a gun on that stop.
That's great read and react by Rico Gafford. He saw the short route. As soon as the ball was in the air, Rico Gafford came flying up and just put his head right in the middle of his chest and drove him right back. That was a great play. And way to just, again, minimize the gain. Let him throw the 2 or 3 yard outs. That's not going to hurt you long term. As long as you can come up and make a tackle, it's when those 2 or 3 yard outs turn into 60-yard touchdowns because of a missed tackle by your corner when you run into trouble. So if Rico Gafford could tackle like that, there's no concern on the Dowling defense.
2 receivers to the near side, 1 to the top. To the left goes Gray of Alexander. He looks to throw it to the near side and does. Caught by Daphne. Very close to the first down at the 39-yard line, depending on the spot. I think he's going to be short.
Short, yep.
32 seconds, no score between Dowling and Valley. This is 2 teams just trying to kind of find their way around each other here. 2 heavyweights kind of just dancing around. Coming up here. And there is a timeout. No, it's
I think we're going to measure.
Mm-hmm. Seth Drury is down on that sideline. Seth, what do you think? First down or no?
It looks pretty close. Daphne tried to do a good job of coming back and cutting right at that first down mark, but obviously that's all the way on the other side of the field. And then after he caught, he tried to hop up the field a little bit, but the spot's right on it. We'll see. They've got it here, and it looks like they're short. Oh, first down. Actually. It looked like he was going down to give a mark on the ball, but I guess they got it by a link or so because it was right on it. So first down, extend the drive of Valley here, but, man, that hit Gafford, or his closing speed there in zone coverage to get out on Tyus. That's pretty impressive.
Seth, what was that hit like on Gafford there? I mean, how quick was that?
It was because Daphne was going on a deep route there, and they were in zone coverage, but being able to recognize once the ball was in there, closing in on that and getting the form right into his chest, be lucky the ball didn't pop out. Ooh.
First down, and then Gray runs and nearly has his head taken off on a tackle. Penalty flag there. Wow, Gray's head just snapped right off there. You could hear Billy and I gasp, as could Seth and everyone else in the stadium. Not an intentional, but it's going to probably be a flagrant anyway just because of the severity. Is that right?
Yeah, and it was Isaiah Patton coming up trying to make a play on the fullback trap. And I think, Isaiah just went up a little bit high. And, Drew Gray, I think Drew Gray was the ball carrier, number 33. And, he was running a little straight up and down. I don't think it was necessarily intentional, but, with those face masks, you get your hand caught in it, you're running full speed. It looks a lot worse, I think, than it was intended to.
Right.
But nonetheless, it hurts equally as much. So glad he's okay.
And I missed it on the replay. I didn't quite get a chance to look over and see it here on our monitor. Alexander back to pass on a fresh set of downs. JoJo runs past him, but then not able to escape the grasp of John Swisher. But Alexander does get positive yards. 2, maybe 1, and that is going to do it for the first quarter. We've played one quarter here from Drake Stadium. The Tigers lead